Hey guys, well, I guess it's been a few years. Another day, another do-it-yourself video. Welcome! No, so today, first time doing a video on a Mercedes for my channel here, but excited to maybe help out. I actually don't know if a video like this is already on YouTube, or not, but I've experienced this problem more than once now, and I would love to help the community of people that like fixing their cars, that go to YouTube, out by sharing my dilemma with you and the solution. Real quickly here, let's talk about it, and then I'm trying to show you the new part, and then we'll get on to how to do the job. So gas leak in the back of your car, smells sort of around the where you fill up the tank. In fact, that's behind me. I could show you right there. So you'll smell a little bit of gas and wonder where it's coming from, and some of it's leaking. You may or may notice from your fuel tank gauge, but either way, I noticed that the plastic on the fuel tank gas cap or lid or cover is sort of melting away by constant contact with gas. And the reason why my theory is, sorry, to try and get to the point here, is because I found, this is my second time doing the job, and I found two different cracks or holes, so hence me making this video. Okay, I'm gonna give you the part number and let's get to it. This is the only part you're gonna need. You're not gonna need the seal underneath it because it's not gonna go bad on you, but I'll just read it to you, maybe show you the first half. 204 470 0483. All right, let's get started. Piece of cake job. All I'm using is my 8mm and my 10mm sockets. These are 1/4 inch. Of course, you can use just a ratchet. I attached my gun to them, and you may want maybe a screwdriver or a pick if you want, perhaps a curved one, but really just a simple job to remove the, what are we calling this, the back seat. Just two things. It's not easy, but the first step is to, I'm trying to show you guys, let's see. So there's the hole that the metal springs into. It's like a clip sort of a situation, and what we want to do is, see, this is the middle of the seat, but you're not, you're grabbing, oh, you're grabbing from the bottom, you're hooking your fingers and you're pulling up, but you're not exactly grabbing the middle of the seat. It's more like a little bit to the outside, just a little bit, maybe 2-3 inches, I don't know. And then you're using your pressure from your fingertips really to push up, and that's where you want your leverage. It's not necessarily about the rest of your hand. And then you'll do that on both sides. This thing will it'll sort of angle up a little bit, like so. And then you got these hooks, which I shall illustrate. Right here, you see that other metal ring right there? That's gonna hook on to that little anchor, whatever we're gonna call it. So what we do is, with the seat sort of propped up in the front, we push it back. I do this with one hand. We push it back and then lift the back up to get it off of that anchor down there. See, so there you go. And then the seat should come up. You do that on both sides and the seat should come up and out of there. And then you got these 4 8mm screws we're going to remove those next. I should also mention on installation that this clip, there's obviously one on the other side, is trying to also fit around and I believe underneath this clip, which is also on the other side, of course. And you're not really paying too much attention to that. It's more about the other two, and then of course you're going to push down here when you believe that let's say metal ring is centered over the plastic underneath it, that plastic spring hole circle thing. Yeah, I don't know, just overall, just good luck putting it back together, okay? It should be simple enough. Okay, so we've removed the 4 8mm screws and we pry this thing up. You can do this with your fingers carefully, especially around here where there seems to be a seal for the wires to go past. And then you'll see the 2 connectors. There should be, this guy should be over here somewhere. And we're going to remove those, and then let's get to the 10mm nuts afterwards. I made a joke about missing the bracket for this later in the video, but I should mention it now. There's a bracket that goes somewhere on here, I believe, and this thing slides on. You can kind of see the tab right there on the middle, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to, you know, with a screwdriver, pry that up and then slide it off. In this case, what direction would that go? You pry that up and you slide it off. Yeah. So there you go. Remove that. Keep the bracket, unlike my amateur self, and that way you can put it back together all tidy. Next, we're removing this connector, which is pretty easy. Where my thumbnail is here, you're pushing in on this tab, which is prying up or levering up the bottom half of that tab, and then it's prying it up over the notch, and then you pull out. So it's more work than a regular connector, but you can get it. I do want to mention at this point, if your water seal inside the connector, see that blue ring around this thing, is damaged, well then you may want to fish it out of there and trim it up and then delicately stick it back in there. It might make connecting this thing a bit of a migraine, but it's supposed to snap back on. Not in this case. We want to remove these 6 nuts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the bracket for the lid can come out. Removing the lid bracket, just comes straight up and out. The last step is removing the cap. And what we're doing is we're avoiding this wire going through, and maybe some other wires you have disconnected. I realize I should probably not make this DIY if this thing is just dangling here, but you want to remove that as well from wherever it was clipped on to this thing. Anyway, this is my second time doing it. I guess I did a bit of a sloppy job the first time. So you move the cap up, and trying not to get any debris inside the tank, you carefully move it up and out of the way enough to where you can get to this last connector, which is also the same procedure as the last one. That's it. Toodles, you're done. Replace it, put it all back together. Have a good one.